another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. Tonight with me is going to be just Chris because Ruben is still doing things with his brother and trying to get settled in and everything there. And I don't know anything more to really give you any information about that. And I sent Bruce one, but I guess he's busy or he's tired because I know he works. And I sent the Patriot one, but he said he had taken something and he might be falling asleep. So, or he was really starting to get tired or whatever. So I guess you're going to be stuck with this us too. But hey, I've done it by myself before. So, you know, having two is better than none. So how are you, Chris? How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. So, yeah, you ready for all the crap I'm gonna pull up here? All right. Well,
Yeah, I've watched all the videos on the feed.
Okay. Well, the first one I thought was really good because it's very inspirational, and I'm a military brat, so I really like it. So here we go. I'm gonna do this first one, and I'm gonna open it up for you, because it's very patriotic, and we don't realize all the work that these young men do, you know, for
Color guard.
yeah, for just to be in the military and to make us proud, you know, to be represented by such wonderful young people that love our country and want to serve it. So here we go. All the hours of practice that they go through to prepare for that. But this was supposedly before they were getting ready for a parade. And this is
Hmm.
they said in Washington for their evening parade. And it just, it's just beautiful. I have never been to Washington, D.C. Um, I would like to go one day. I mean, everyone told me it was so, dirty and falling apart. But after Trump's finished working on it, I'm probably going to go visit it. I went and saw Mount Rushmore with my mother, and it was just breathtakingly beautiful. I mean, it doesn't even look real. It's so majestic, and it's just gorgeous to see that we have so many beautiful monuments, representing our country. It's just really nice. It's just nice to have that, and I can see why tourists would want to go see stuff like that, the Grand Canyon, you know, uh, or many other things that we've got. But I just wish more people, thought this kind of stuff was nice. So I wanted to share that because I just really liked it.
What I
And
was thinking about the whole time you were doing that,
huh?
whenever they train you for that, they make you hold your rifle like this and go, "This is my rifle," and then
Yeah.
grab your crotch and go, "This is my gun," and grab your rifle and go, "This is for killing. This is for fun." And all I could think about was my drill sergeants doing that.
Well, every boot camp has different, people that are doing the training, and they do what they feel is fit. And it's so nice to know that Hegseth is putting more of the old back
Old
in
school,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, which we need because these men might at any moment, or women might be sent to battle, and I want them prepared to have each other's backs. You know what I mean? I don't want them to go there and think, well, I'm just here to get a paycheck or whatever, whatever stupid shit that we had there for a little while. People bad mouthing the military all the time in uniforms. I mean, I got mad when the Dixie Chicks were bad mouthing our country in another country. To me, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. I mean, I wasn't happy with some of the presidents we've had, but if I'm traveling abroad, I'm not going to go up there and say, "Oh, fuck him, he's this or the other." I'd never do that. I would never disrespect my military or any of that stuff. And it's a shame that we got people that won't even put their hand over the heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. Look at me. I got a freaking flag on my desk. You know, I don't know. And I got my flag at half staff out in front of my house right now for Dolly Parton dying. Because Trump did it, for Dolly Parton. So I did it, but not everybody's
I'm
in
totally
that.
with Nancy Mace. If you can't pledge allegiance to this country, you have no right whatsoever to try to rule over us.
Mhm.
I mean, what are flags for? They carry their flags like it's all hell to die for, and then want to piss and shit on ours. It's like if that's how you feel, go back to your own country. It's that
Yep.
simple.
But I wanted to share this before we get started the other stuff because it's starting off with a bunch of shit. But we played it last night. But a lot of people that didn't get to see it last night, I want to share it because to me, I am shocked that we have a state that's spending our hard-earned tax dollars on this kind of crap. And I'm going to share the stuff in the chat again. Hopefully, somebody will stop this crap because I think this is just horrible that this is going on. Even if it's only in their state, thank God, it's still bad. And I'm sure most of the state doesn't even know about it, because nobody's going to talk about it. I mean, look at all this crap. Anybody that owns property I hear should be upset and having to pay property taxes when you can't even get them to clean up the streets or anything. It's just terrible. But here we go.
If you thought Los Angeles and California couldn't get any more crazier, watch this.
I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics, primarily serving the homeless and unhoused. This means equality. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or, where appropriate and consensual, with a partner. all funded by public tax dollars and managed with professional oversight.
Yes, you heard that right. Here in Los Angeles, they're considering a pilot program for hygienic sexual relief clinics. This means that homeless would have a location for them to go and masturbate and have sex in. So imagine a location like Skid Row right here. They'd have a place where the homeless can go masturbate and have sex in. Who's going to go clean those places out after a bunch of homeless people have had sex? And who's going to monitor the ages of those individuals that are going in and having sex? We know a lot of minors live out here in Skid Row. It also sounds like this could just be a place for a lot of women to get raped, quite frankly. And of course, this would be all funded by your tax dollars. And in fact, here in California right now, they're even proposing a billionaire tax because here in California, they don't tax people enough apparently, and it has a 29% chance of going through according to Polymarket. So this is just some of the craziness here inside California. They literally want to have and are proposing to have government-funded sex locations for the homeless so they can get off and bust a nut and have a masturbation session. A bit crazy. What do you think about here in California, it being proposed to have locations for the homeless to masturbate and have sex in?
No, the reason why is because, first of all, they already have places for that. They don't do it in public. Okay, it's frowned upon. We don't like that. Just as residents of Skid Row.
Why do you think California would propose such an idea, such as government-funded locations for masturbation and sex?
Government-funded is the most important part. It's because it's a very liberal state. It's liberal. It is where all the liberal ideas come from. So it's one of the bases for it, okay? It doesn't come out of New York City anymore. It comes out, even New York City is very liberal. It comes out of California.
Would you like to go clean up after a homeless person has had sex and masturbated?
No, I don't think that they should do that because it promotes it.
Do you think the homeless should have a location to have sex and masturbate, government funded? No. They're proposing it right now here in LA.
Oh, no. You need housing.
They need housing.
Not for other things, not for that.
Yeah. What do you think a government-funded sex shop, a masturbation clinic would look like here inside of Skid Row?
No. That's like putting guns and all that. You know what I'm saying? No, that's too negative. We want some positive.
You think a lot of women will be raped?
Yeah. That's like promoting, sexual assault or anything. Yeah.
Terrible. I still can't believe it. But that was one of the things that I said last night when we first watched this, was the fact that who's going to make sure that underage people, young men and young women, aren't being taken there. And they, here they were all this panicking, everything with wearing masks, staying 6 feet apart and everything. And now they're going to put a bunch of people in with, nasty stuff flying all over the room. And I don't know. I just think it's disgusting. I just can't believe that there's actual people in government that think that this is a good idea in any state, even one as bad as that. It's it's disgusting. It's what it is. I just can't believe it, but it's a fact.
If you listen to that dude that just, right. Can you imagine the conversation between the man who's, presented that?
Yeah.
And the person who came to him like, man, we need housing really bad. Well, I've checked my schedule and I don't have housing, but how about a room where you can jack off? I mean, how did that conversation go? I'm sure the homeless people didn't go to him and go, hey, man, we just need a place to fuck. I mean, we'll go in a bar and do it in the back of the corner of the bar like everybody else does. I mean, I worked in the nightclub business. People do the craziest shit in bars. It's like, whatever, man. You need us to build you like a little,
Why not take that money and clean up the streets?
I mean, Jesus Christ, if they ever saw Gilligan's Island, they'd know they could just make one. There's bamboo and shit all over the place in California. They could do it, but they don't. You got to give them everything. You even need a place to have sex. I'll be like, yeah, man, no, let me think about it. No, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah, to me, that's just another frivolous, stupid shit to spend your tax dollars that you work your ass off. You can't lower the price of gas. You can't clean up the streets. There's feces and poop and human poop, needles, trash, dogs, people laying in the streets, people zombified, walking around shaking, and vomiting and all that stuff in the street. You can't clean that up, but you can make a building where people can go and jack off. I just think, it,
I
who,
mean,
how,
there's pimps working TikTok right now. I looked at all that. And I
oh,
mean, I've been around law enforcement my whole life, you know. I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh my God, these are code words for call me for women. It's like,
yeah,
damn, you can't be serious.
it's bad. I mean, this whole thing
It's
is,
bad. It's gotten real bad.
but I wanted to play this because I thought this was interesting, and I do remember this. It says, remember when Julian Assange exposed Hillary Clinton was funding the Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, Al Qaeda? And this will be relevant very soon. So I'm going to play this again for you because a lot of people haven't seen it. But yeah, this is from years ago, but let's listen.
Early 2004. There's a early 2014 email from Hillary Clinton, so not so long after she left Secretary of State, to her campaign manager, John Podesta. That email, it states that ISIS, is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, the governments of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Now, this is I think this is the most significant email in the whole collection. And perhaps because Saudi and Qatari money is spread all over the place, including into many media institutions. All serious analysts know, even the US government has mentioned or agreed with that some Saudi figures have been supporting ISIS, funding ISIS. But the dodge has always been that's it's just some rogue princes using their cut of the oil money to do whatever they like, but actually the government disapproves. But that email says that no, it is the governments of Saudi and the government and Qatar that have been funding ISIS.
The Saudis, the Qataris, the Moroccans, the Bahrainis, particularly the Saudis and the Qataris, are giving all this money to the Clinton Foundation, while Hillary Clinton is Secretary of State and the State Department is approving massive arms sales, particularly to Saudi Arabia.
Under Hillary Clinton, and our Clinton emails reveal significant discussion about it, the largest ever arms deal in the world was made with Saudi Arabia, more than $80 billion. In fact, during her tenure as Secretary of State, total arms exports from the United States, in terms of the dollar value, doubled.
And of course, the consequence of that is that this notorious terrorist jihadist group called ISIL or ISIS is created largely with money from the very people who are giving money to the Clinton Foundation.
Yes.
Wow.
That's extraordinary.
But yet nothing happened. So hopefully something will, because what I'm seeing is more and more stuff being released by the different people in the different departments of being declassified. And remember when there was 4 or 5 different interviews I watched with Kash Patel before he was in office, okay, saying that if he got in there, that he was gonna try to declassify everything he possibly let the president would let him. You know, FBI files. He said, you know, not FBI files, but the JFK stuff, just everything he could get his hands on. Because he goes, I've seen some of this stuff, and I'm telling you, people aren't going to believe a lot of it. That's what he was saying before anything. And then when Dan Bongino went in there, I was really surprised he went, and then he didn't stay very long. So, yeah, I didn't think he would stay long because it didn't seem like he had the stomach for it to come back and duke it out, you know, like Kash and some of these other people are having to do, because basically they're having to fight every step of the way to get anything out. because they're having to go to court over and over and over again for every little thing. And it's nice though to start seeing some wins with the Supreme Court on some of the things that Trump's been trying to get done. And I wish the Supreme Court could say, okay, we're going to get rid of the senators for you or something, you know. That would be really good. But I wanted to share that because something supposedly is supposed to be coming up with
Well,
this.
I know when we looked into all of that stuff back then, that what we found was that Huma Abedin was in the Muslim Brotherhood, and her brother was one of the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood. And of course,
Yeah.
Huma Abedin was married to the pedophile guy. You mentioned his name a minute ago. Podesta, John Podesta. All right, so John Podesta and Huma Aberdeen are married. She's a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. And I mean, the Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist organization. They fund terrorism. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And when they allowed the Muslim Brotherhood to operate in America and said, you know, this is it, you're messing with our free speech. Excuse me, but if you're going to say you're going to bomb the White House, that is no longer free speech. What we're going to do is we're going to lock you in the basement of this most secure prison. And here we got the, you know, people in the White House, people from the White House, the Secretary of State. But here's the problem. That's the same thing that John Kirby and that bunch was doing. Same exact thing. They were funding. I mean, think about this is going to come out. I promise you, this is going to come out. People are going to get furious. The Secretary of State took $320 million to Nigeria, and they were in the middle of a civil war. And we went over there and said, yeah, man, we're gonna give you this and you'll be able to stop the coup. As soon as they got the money, the coup went down, and then the damn Muslim general and all of his people took the money, right? And that was when Prigozhin and Putin went to Nigeria between the time that the coup took place and the time that they got the money, right? So Prigozhin goes back. Here's what Russia's problem was, right? The civil war is going on there. They got the shit going on in Ukraine, and all the ports in Ukraine are closed down. And Russia was over the food, like wheat and corn and all that kind of stuff that was supposed to go to Africa. And Putin, the people there were starving. And he went there. He's like, look, man, he went to Trump. He went to Biden about it. He's like, look, you got to let this food go to Africa. People are starving. It's getting really bad. So the general does the coup thinking that the president of Nigeria is withholding the money. And Putin and Prigozhin went there to chill it out. Now, whether or not Putin and Prigozhin took that money, I'm not sure. But then the coup took place. The king of France there's a king of France, and some people don't know that. He's just out of the picture, right? He was furious, man, at Biden, and it was made a great, big, huge fallout. And they really never got their food being shipped to them. I'm not sure how they figured out how to solve that, but that was okay. So the Biden administration was doing it in 2020 and 1 and 22, and Hillary was doing it back in 2004. So when you look at all of this and you talk about the Muslim Brotherhood and ISIS, and Obama changed the name from ISIS to ISIL, called them the damn JV, and then openly said right on TV, we're supplying the weapons to ISIL. They're helping us in Syria. It's like, I don't know who believed that. And I had friends in fifth group and, you know, Delta operations and shit like that. I'm like, dude, you're literally handing weapons to people that'll kill you with them. What are you doing? So when in the middle of every bit of that stuff right there going on, guess who died? John McCain. And he had his picture taken with ISIS. in a weapons transfer, right? So let's, now that I said weapons transfers, let's jump back to 2004. Weapons transfers. You know who that was? That was Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend's father. He was the one who was doing all the weapons. That's what her father was. He was a CIA weapons trafficker, right? So he
Oh,
died
you're
right
talking
about
about
then.
Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, right. Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was a longtime deep state weapons trafficker, right? He dies right about that time, and Jeffrey Epstein just took over the family business. I don't know another way to put it. And then, in order to keep people quiet, he'd set them up with these 14, 13-year-old girls, whatever, said, look, man, you can say whatever you want to about me. When these videos hit the internet, you ain't gonna like it. And
Yeah.
that's how all that was about. So yeah, the Muslim Brotherhood definitely has been a huge problem for us. Bridget Gabriel was saying back in 2009, you got to make them illegal, make them illegal. Don't get me started on Obama and how all this shit happened. They knew
Well,
what they were
you
doing.
don't have to go real deep in it. We're just having to, I just want to go over whatever the topic is that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
well, I'm just saying all that stuff that he found in Hillary's emails.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all that was found on Huma Abedin's laptop.
Comey was like, well, she had an illegal server in her bathroom. She bleach bitted all her shit with Huma Abedin and a few other people, hammering phones and bleach bit and all the other shit, and nothing. That's why
Well, we got Huma Abedin's laptop and John Podesta's.
Yeah,
and that's what really hung her.
Her husband's laptop had shit on it too. It said insurance policy with a bunch of shit about Hillary in it. So I'm hoping, just like I said, way back when I think it was the first time you did a show like this with me, and I told you the one person I want to see in handcuffs, if I could only get one person out of all these people that I've seen, I just want to be Hillary Clinton, because she's the root of all evil. I mean, that's how I look at her. But this next thing is one of the things I want. This is the one I was talking about last night. Remember I said I couldn't find it?
Yeah.
This was the interview that I wanted to play. And this is White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor, Stephen Miller. And I really like him. A lot of people can't stand him. They said they hate his voice and all different stuff, but he's got a gorgeous, knockdown gorgeous wife and two beautiful kids, I think two. And he's a go-getter. He gets things done. So I can see why she, wanted to be with him and whatever else, but he's very successful, and he seems like he cares about what's going on in this country. He wants a better country for his own children and his grandchildren someday. And I think it shows when you see these people and the way that they're, digging down. I mean, they're not giving up, even though him and his family had to go stay on an Air Force base because their family's being threatened, and it's pathetic. But I want to share his interview on this right here. So here we go, about declassifying some stuff.
Collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison. There's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we...
Terrible. All of it. But the thing is, how many times does he got to say it? I can't wait. I can't wait to see handcuffs on this person. This is one of the people that I definitely want to see. And this is why all these declassifying of documents, even though the Senate isn't doing their job to help save our November elections. After we watched what happened last night about the approval ratings for Trump, as you know, 2 years in, it's really good. He's doing really well because people that actually have common sense and understand that Trump is not a king and he can't just do whatever he wants and go in any state and arrest people and do whatever. He's not allowed to do that. He has to follow the Constitution and he has to follow the state laws and the constitutions of the states also. And he's going about it the best way he can. And all he can do is sit at his desk and basically write executive orders to try to get little things done right now. It's not going to stay going because as soon as the next person, especially if it's a Democrat, gets in office, they're just going to write an executive order and get rid of his, stop oil drilling, whatever they want, just like he's trying to do it for us to get money flowing again in our country. But it's kind of hard when you hit a roadblock almost every time you turn around. So it really sucks. But it's nice to see his team is fighting right beside him, trying to get things done. And that's why I like to share that kind of stuff, because I think it's really, really important that people know about it. Okay, this next one, I think this is it. Oh yeah, okay. This is what the whole thing with the Catherine Herridge is how you say her last name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the opening for some of the things that's coming out. This is another thing that Cash talked about, the 9/11 stuff that he's seen. And he said that people aren't going to believe a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming out. Well, now that they're releasing it, because Catherine had asked, for what is that called when you get the government to give you the stuff?
FOIA.
Okay, yeah, FOIA. She did a bunch of that, and she's been fighting to try to get this information. But what's interesting about this post is it says it seems like J.D. Vance, J.D. Vance posted this video down here, or a few things at the vice president's TikTok, this whole thing. This is what he put on it. I'm gonna have the volume down because it's a song I'll probably get in trouble for, and I already have a warning right now. And I've had a warning since 2024 that they won't take off. So there's nothing I can do about it. There's no one to talk to. But I'm going to show you this. It's just showing a bunch of chickens running around. That's it. Okay. So basically something is coming, which is what supposedly J.D. Vance posted. So I'm going to stop that. But it has music. It's that's on there. It's really interesting. But it says, we're all the talk 9/11 lately. This video from JD reminded me of this news article. And so I wanted to share that because it leads into Catherine's information that I'm going to share next. But J.D. Vance is the one that posted it. And then this next thing I'm going to bring up is the actual link that was in that, above the little chicken video. I'm going to share that really quick right here. This is the link. It's for NBC News. It says, Bin Laden comes home to roost. Michael Moran looks at U.S. ties to Osama bin Laden, trained and funded by the CIA to wreak havoc on the Soviet army, and now turning his talents on Americans. And that's what this whole article is. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to share this article in the chat for anyone who wants to go and, you know, take a little time and read it, because I think it's very informative, but it goes along with the thing that I'm about to share. So I got that in there. There it is. It's in the chat, so you guys can go get it, because I do like to put all the links into the chat for people to see. So now I'm going to share. Oops, that's the wrong one. Clicked on the wrong thing. Damn it. Try not to do that, but okay. Here is Catherine's thing that she posted, and I want to share it with everyone, because she's been working really hard to get these documents released and get these videos released and these files and stuff, and they're releasing them. So, but it's been, I don't know how many years since 9/11, September 11th, 2001, they've had this stuff before that, though. I think this was before they even did anything. But here we go. I'm gonna open this up so you guys can listen to it. Here we go.
Are any hijackers in this video?
There are two hijackers appear in this video.
One hijacker can be seen in the kitchen. Bayumi instructs the videographer not to film one side of the room. This caught Evanina's attention.
You see, don't film here. And he's motioning.
To the left side of the room.
So as an investigator, what does that tell you?
He wants these people seen in the video for sure, and absolutely nobody on that side of the video.
Later, the videographer slips up and captures the other side of the room.
So they're having the meal, and then the videographer pulls up at one point and gets the other side of the room by accident. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Right? This man is identified in court records as a Saudi government religious official, Mohammed al-Qahtani.
What's the significance?
Very significant. It's another direct tie to an actual employee of the Saudi government in the welcoming party for two soon-to-be hijackers. That's a big deal.
That's information that would have been relevant to the 9/11 Commission.
These videos were obtained in the fall of 2001. Those videos should have been provided to the 9/11 Commission.
Yeah. So these videos weren't handed over. So somebody was making sure that they weren't handed over. So I don't know who that is, but I'm hoping that by her digging and asking the right questions, a lot of stuff's going to be coming out about 9/11 finally. And I know, what I've heard is that a bunch of the families from 9/11 are suing from Great Britain, are suing Saudi Arabia. So we'll have to wait and see what all that's about. But that's what I'm hoping, that a lot of this stuff is going to come out. Now, here is something else that she posted. It says, FBI and CIA records reveal 2 Saudi government employees may have served as advance team for the hijackers. And I'm going to share this video with you. This is the bigger one of the little tiny tidbit that you had on the other one. But the thing is, this one is like broken down so that you can go to the certain time stamps and look for certain information if you want. And I'm going to share this in the chat also. But I'm going to start playing this for you.
The FBI says they may have served as an advance team for the 9/11 hijackers.
Based upon these documents,
It's echoing.
it's pretty clear that they were here for that particular reason.
As someone who investigated 9/11, do these records move the timeline?
They do. That really moves the timeline back significantly to when this support network actually got on the ground here in the United States. Are any hijackers in this video?
There are 2 hijackers appear in this video. Is there enough here to draw a direct connection between 9/11 and the Saudi government?
It's clear that we now have individuals who came here prior to 9/11 who were official Saudi employees. Were they official Saudi employees working on behalf of this plot, or they were also Saudi employees and also serving the needs of Al-Qaeda? I think these records clearly depict not only the advanced team coming here in the United States, but setting up shop, facilitating the care and feeding and housing of the hijackers.
That's information that would have been relevant to the 9/11 Commission.
These videos were obtained in the fall of 2001. Those videos should have been provided to the 9/11 Commission.
As someone who investigated 9/11, do these records move the timeline?
They do. I think that really moves the timeline back significantly 2 to 3 years to
You
when this
just played that.
actually got on the ground here in the
It
United States.
started over.
Bill Evanina is the former director of the National Counterintelligence and Security Center. He spent 24 years at the FBI and investigated
It's not started
9/11.
over.
The FBI says they may have served as an advance team for the 9/11 hijackers.
I think based upon these documents and the videos, I think it's pretty clear that they were here for that particular reason. The question would be, at whose behest? Was it from the Saudi government, or were they working for Al Qaeda directly, just happened to be Saudi employees?
Filmed 2 years before the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the video shows these Saudi government employees, Mutaib al-Suderi behind the wheel, the other Adil Mohammed al-Sadan, hiding behind a roadmap. Along with a third Saudi, they filmed Washington, D.C. landmarks, later identified by al-Qaeda terrorists as potential 9/11 targets.
The declassified record states the FBI assesses that the two Saudis may still maintain ties to Al Qaeda. Sounds like the two Saudis had long-standing ties to Al Qaeda.
Sounds very clear to me that they still possess, which means they once did possess.
Exclusive reporting and declassified intelligence and law enforcement records reveal the Saudi government employees, Sadan and Suderi, may have served as an advance team to vet those who would later assist hijackers in Southern California. The explosive lead was buried in thousands of pages of once secret government records.
We asked you to review these declassified documents. Are they significant documents?
I think they are. I think they really predate what we've known about 9/11 and the support networks domestically here in the U.S. for the hijackers.
Based on these new records and some of the video evidence, is there enough here to draw a direct connection between 9/11 and the Saudi government?
I think we're closer. I think it's clear that we now have individuals who came here prior to 9/11 who were official Saudi employees. Now, were they official Saudi employees working on behalf of this plot, or they were also Saudi employees and also serving the needs of Al Qaeda?
Are the two Saudis overlooked key players in the 9/11 plot?
I think that's a good question. I think these two individuals who are now named provide new investigative leads for the FBI and our intelligence services to go back and put some more pieces together in this really complicated puzzle.
It took nearly 2 decades and pressure from the 9/11 families who are suing Saudi Arabia over the terrorist attacks for these highly secretive government records to be declassified. Investigators for the families found evidence Sadan and Suderi arrived in Southern California in December 1998, 13 months before the first two hijackers also landed in Los Angeles, later receiving financial assistance, obtaining driver's licenses, living quarters, spiritual guidance, and locating flight schools.
Based on the declassified records, what did the alleged Saudi advance team do?
I think these records clearly depict not only the advanced team coming here in the United States, but setting up shop, coordinating with imams on the West Coast and on the East Coast, facilitating the care and feeding and housing of the hijackers.
The hijackers, many of them did not speak English, had never been to the United States before. Could they have lived under the radar without this support network?
I highly doubt it. If you were going to initiate this type of sophisticated plot, you don't even want to take that chance. So it was critically needed to have a support network here.
The intelligence reports include
I can't hear you.
How to fly commercial planes, that they were being trained to fly commercial planes and stuff. I don't know if that's still true or not, if that was just what they said to give them the right to try to, go over there and bomb them or whatever it was. Because I remember what Bush said. He said that you did this to us and we're going to take you out or whatever it was. Remember all that stuff that he was saying when he was walking around downtown in New York? So I don't know. I'm interested to find it because there's been a lot of conspiracies here and there that they took this building out so they could go into this other building and rob it, So I don't know. But the horrible thing was, I remember watching my mom watching TV, crying because she said she could hear people hitting, hitting the roof because they were leaping out of the building, out of the windows. And she was just bawling her eyes out because I didn't understand what was going on when she was telling me about it. And I go, what are you talking about? She said, hear those thumps? That's what that is. People are leaping from the fire, from the smoke, trying to get out. And I was like, oh, and then my stomach just dropped. And I just remember how I felt when my mom was telling me about that. And because it went right over my head, and I'm sure it did most people. And then to see the firemen coming out covered, with thick powder residue on them, and then to find out years later that lots of them are dying from cancer, lung cancers, and all that stuff from all the stuff they breathed in, and to know that this was a lot of stuff was covered up for whatever reason. If someone attacks our country and it really is someone on the outside attacking us, why wouldn't our government want us to know that we're going to get revenge, that we're going to take people out? See, that was one of the things that I didn't understand, and I still
Can we segue right there on get revenge for a little history lesson?
Yeah.
Let me give you a little history. I've been
Okay.
doing what I've been doing a really, really long time. A really long time. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some facts that you can look up with Grok if you want to.
Okay.
And then but I can't give details. Okay, but so generally speaking, from 1983 to 1989, our CIA had an op going on where we were trying to financially destroy Russia. So in Afghanistan at that time, Russia was fighting there. And we were the guys who were doing the dirty shit, like what's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. Right? So we were the bad guys in that deal. Well, our liaison for that was Osama bin Laden. Now, Osama bin Laden was a Saudi Arabian prince. His wife lived in America till just recently. Trump made her leave. Like during this administration and all this time, one of his wives and some of his children have lived in America. Osama bin Laden now. Right, he's a CIA asset. What you gonna do? So Russia withdrew from Afghanistan and that war ended. But then Saddam Hussein went down and basically just occupied Kuwait. And when they did that, they took all those American hostages down there. There was 1,500 of them from American oil companies. And Bush is like, get out. He kept telling them, get out, get out, get out, get out. Well, all of a sudden, Tony Blair decides he's going to he was the prime minister at the time. He tells Bush that they got weapons of mass destruction. Well, I have pictures from that day, okay? They didn't have any, right? And I've got pictures of people in the palace and all that. In my phone, I got this, right? Now, they did dump sarin gas in the Tigris and Euphrates, both of them, so that men on foot would be poisoned and die. Because the first medic responses were to men who drowned in like water that was like 8 inches deep, but they were falling in it face down and unconscious from sarin gas. So fast forward to 1992 and Schwarzkopf is there and all this stuff is going on. It's like, okay, man, this is it. That wasn't shock and awe. Shock and awe was over Afghanistan, but whatever it was, the deep 40, something about a football game. Hail Mary, something. Anyway, so Schwarzkopf goes in, and they go in the middle of the night, and they got the most elite soldiers in the whole fucking army, right? And there's 500,000 of these guys, and they're the Iranian Guard was the name of them. Now, they were starving. They didn't have water. We found this out after the fact, right after we got on the ground. But I'm telling you, something horrific happened during that, right? So all those oils, they blew up all the oil wells when they were like going back. So we couldn't take the oil. But also there was like a really huge mass casualty event there. And those bodies were dealt with by American forces, and we didn't go by Muslim rules. And that's all the details I'm giving on that. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of black smoke around. Figure out whatever you want to about that. Well, a lot of those guys were mercenaries that were paid by Saddam Hussein to be in the IRGC. And we defiled Islam. We defiled Islam by what happened. And the other problem with that wasn't just all the dead bodies. It was the fact that half of them were carrying their white T-shirts on the end of their guns and begging America to stop. But they did it at night, and they did it with bombs, and it was just too fucking late.
Well,
right? So we had to clean the mess up. Let me go on just a little more.
Okay.
All right. So 92 is over. They made the statement. Bush makes the statement, the New World Order statement. He did it when he announced that the Iraq War was over.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there was some crazy shit in that. So now, 1993, Osama bin Laden, who's mad as hell because we defiled Islam and Muslims with what happened after that battle that killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And 1993, he sends a U-Haul truck full of bombs into the basement of the World Trade Center. Boom. They had fixed like 3 floors and half the basement. So that gets all put back together and everything's good. And, the world's kind of at peace. We got Bosnia going on, some more Soros bullshit, but nothing in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So 1998, in February of 98, bin Laden is still swearing he's going to get revenge on America for what happened in that battlefield. And he tries to take down the Trade Center again. But this time they've put these great big iron beams, I-beams across where only cars and pickups could get through there. So it stops right there and blows up, and it blows up a whole bunch of shit up the side and all of this kind of stuff, right? But you got to understand, this was a blood oath. I'm going to fuck America, right? And then on top of it, Bush didn't go kill Saddam Hussein, and GW had an attitude about that. Remember? Daddy, you should have finished the job. Daddy, right? And he wants to go get Saddam Hussein. And once again, somebody has tricked him, right? Who was it? It was Tony Blair. Tony Blair sent him to do that. So that war breaks out. Right now, we got American troops in Afghanistan who have been there since 2001, and they're supposed to just be helping them build buildings and build schools and all that kind of shit, but they can't do it because the Taliban is there. Well, who's running the Taliban in Afghanistan? Osama bin Laden, right?
Yeah.
So his protection that he got that put him in Pakistan was probably from the CIA. Because he could, if he would have run his mouth. Now I'm going to tell you something. I heard rumors he was going to run his mouth right before he died. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Okay, I got a Pakistani shot record.
People always say that. I mean, I heard after what happened in Nepal, that people were saying that China wanted to get revenge or whatever, so they manipulated the weather.
No, that's not. That was a normal thing that happened.
Well, I know, I say that, but what I'm saying is you're going to have people that are going to make a conspiracy out of everything. Anyone dies. I don't care who it is. If they're a famous star where they were murdered, they were this, they were that, they were about to screech on so-and-so about being a child molester. I mean, they come up with everything. I mean, there's every angle about every single thing.
Well, the reason I did that little history lesson is so you can understand this. What we're dealing with today with the Muslims in America was going on in 1983,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Then you had CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood and Muslims for public education and all this other shit. It's like, what? No, you came to America, man. If you don't like our public education, just go fucking back home, right?
One
but
thing.
I spelled out the history for you and the decisions made by these world leaders who have us where we are. I mean, you got to give Trump credit. He basically said, stop the war in Iran. He goes, that's all right, man. You don't want to play in the neighborhood and be nice? Then you ain't going to be in the neighborhood. And then he went up there to fucking North Korea and talked to Kim Jong-un, and he goes, hey, man, why do y'all do all this shit threatening each other, whatever? So, well, yeah, it's them, it's it. And he tells South Korea, hey, don't do that anymore, right? He's literally
The only
changing
thing,
sides and changing the world right now. He just sort of co-signed with Putin against all of Europe. Now, no one's talking about that shit, but you watch me. That's what the news is this week. The big news this week is that Trump joined Russia against England. That's a big deal. But it has more power to stop the war than it does to keep feeding money to the Ukrainians. They're not going to stop shooting our missiles into Russia. So Trump's like, all right, well, I can't work with you. I'm going to work with Putin. I'm going to put my people over here. And if you bomb me, I'm coming to see you, right? Well, who's behind Ukraine? The UK. So I'm just giving you the military breakdown of how we got to where we are today and who did what and the lies and all this other stuff. It's all connected. Trust me, it's all connected. All the way back to 83 when you know what happened in 83? That's when they drove that damn car full of bombs into Beirut and killed 240 of our finest Marines. That happened in 83. So all of that was tied together.
I've been waiting for something really bad to happen ever since we flew off and left all those weapons there for them to just have. So I'm just waiting for those bombs to go off somewhere in the United States. So, but this is what I wanted to read before I finish playing that. This is another post by Catherine, that says military judge sets summer 2028 trial date for Kihad Shalith Mohammed and 3 others accused of plotting the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. Never forget the mothers and fathers who lost their children in 9/11 attacks and died waiting for a trial and justice. My investigation reveals evidence that was not shared, dismissed, or excluded from the 9/11 Commission report. FBI records are still being withheld from the 9/11 families. It's always the right time for transparency. Your support and subscriptions for her make my independent reporting possible. That's another reason why I want to share her links and stuff, because it's important that somebody like her, the work that she's been trying to do, and most people trust her because she hasn't done any of this dumbass shit that you've seen some of these other people have done. So I'm going to finish playing this for you, but let me put this in the chat. Here we go.
Phone and financial analysis, interviews, and travel patterns, concluding Sadan and Suderi lived at the same address in San Diego where the hijackers would later stay. Other common links include Fahad Al-Thumeri, a well-known figure at the King Fahd Mosque in Los Angeles, reputed to be an Islamic fundamentalist. American cleric Anwar al-Awlaki. He became a major al-Qaeda leader after 9/11 and was killed in a CIA drone strike. As well as this Saudi, the FBI said there's a 50-50 chance he had advanced knowledge of 9/11.
Omar al-Bayoumi, what was his role?
I think he was clearly the fixer, the facilitator, the leader of this potential surveillance cell. And I think the 2 Saudis came here to vet him.
After helping Sadan and Suderi in Southern California, Bayoumi sent letters to Saudi government officials. Bayoumi said of the men, there is complete cooperation and advanced coordination.
What does that tell you?
I think they are exactly what they say they are. I think they send those messages back to the leaders who need to know that the facilitation of the support network in California is strong and it's workable, and there's coordination of the key people that need to make this work.
Bayoumi was arrested about 10 days after 9/11 in Birmingham, England. His records and videos were seized, including a February 2000 welcome party for 2 hijackers in San Diego. Some of the most compelling evidence that challenges the official 9/11 narrative was shared by British authorities with the 9/11 families, not by the U.S. government.
Are any hijackers in this video?
There are 2 hijackers appear in this video.
One hijacker can be seen in the kitchen. Bayoumi instructs the videographer not to film one side of the room.
This is the part that we've already seen, so I'm going to go ahead and
don't
pause that, because we watched the first part of it. You know, the ending part at the beginning. But I just wanted everybody to see uh, what she's been working on and why she's been working on it. Because they're suing, okay, not our country, but Europe is suing Saudi Arabia because of for the families of from 9/11. So I hope that they win. I don't know how they must have a lot of dirt on the country or the government at that time from Saudi Arabia to be able to sue them because I don't know what they've got on them, but I hope something good comes out of it and somebody gets some kind of justice because the whole thing was terrible. I mean, I didn't lose anyone. I didn't know anyone personally that was affected by it, but I'm proud of her. I think she's doing a really good job, and she's a really good reporter. But let's see, what was this next one I wanted to open up?
Yeah, I mean, if I think all that they can find out now is why they did it, and I just explained why they did it. Right in '98, when they had the second failed uh, attack on the World Trade Center, here's what's so weird about it, man. And I'm gonna tell you, this is like really weird. Obama at that time was like trying to get into politics, right? It was right before he broke in. He takes this trip, it was 1998, and he takes a trip to Afghanistan. And there's a squad in Delta, and they're like, we located bin Laden. So this is like a direct to the White House transmission. Nobody even knows anybody's there, none of that, right?
Yeah.
And so he says, give me an account of who's there. That's what Clinton wants. So we give this account, and there was an American there. Fill in the blanks. Clinton said, stand down and just go out, leave. You can't do it while he's there. I'm like, why the fuck does that matter? Well, during that stay when they were there, bin Laden did something he doesn't always do, and he went to stay at a hotel where Obama was. Did I say that? Where this American was.
Yeah.
And we were watching. Okay, he was called Renegade then. This American, that guy that I accidentally said his fake name. He had this little game on his laptop called Flight Commander. He got off on like synthetic flying, whatever you call that shit, virtual flying. And in that game, if you made a mistake and flew your jet into a building, the building would come down. So this little flight thing was based in San Francisco, and that great big pyramid thing there, the Trans-America building.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was running into it on purpose. Yeah. We got all his game data and all that stuff because he had a Secret Service watch list on him. Reagan put it on him right before he left office in '88 because of all the shit he was saying around Harvard about how he was going to overthrow America and black people didn't get treated good. I mean, he was a loose cannon. Back in those days, Obama was a loose cannon. So he got his Senate job right after that. But that meeting occurred. And this is crazy, but I think 9 of the 11 men that were in that Delta unit were all killed. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were all killed. So that there was a way that he saw the idea, right? I don't know if it came from that game, if he was with him when he was playing it, what the deal was, but we knew that was going on. See, once he got elected president, he sealed all those records. He sealed every last one of them. He damn sure did, and he kept the code name Renegade
But he's not president now, so someone else could unseal him.
No. I mean, all right. So he was Renegade when he was being watched by Reagan's people, and then when he became the president, instead of he was able to see everything. Right? He's the president now, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about if we have a president now, why can't they release those documents?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we'll see. We're going to see what happens. That's all I can tell you, right? But among the presidents, there's this honor among presidents. He was in office. He did everything he thought was right, and he shouldn't have to pay for his mistakes because it's a pretty serious job, right? But I'm sort of explaining to you the what went on that built all this stuff up and just revealing some more of this like little things that you'll never hear. That they're never going to say any of that shit that I just said out loud. Yet if you look close enough at all of the media that was from back then and everything that they didn't wipe from the record, I mean, hell, I know those things. I played golf with generals when I was in the military, for Christ's sake. And they were the generals who were out doing all this stuff. And of course, we talked about things. I didn't wear a uniform when I went to them. I wore whatever the other team's uniform was when I went to do stuff like that. And my name was Smith,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I know that all this stuff that I'm saying right now, I know every bit of it is accurate. Will it ever come out? But I'm just saying the why. Of course, we know who all those dudes were. I have a plane ticket in my house to New York City on August the 30th of 2001. And I left on September the 8th, 2001, because it's like, well, there's nothing going on here, right? I was with my linguist specialist. That's that guy whose dad was the president of Seoul University in Korea. He stayed there because his best friend Mr. O had a grocery store in Manhattan, and he was in the grocery store when the first plane hit. Like, right there where heard it and all that. That's why whenever people said it's fake, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. My boy called me on the phone and he was panicking. That shit was real, totally real.
Well, it looked real to me. I mean, the aftermath especially, but
Yeah, I got an NYPD badge from the uniform that I was wearing when I was up there on that job.
Wow.
Dan Bongino was real big there, right? And it's on one of my hats. And I dressed up as an NYPD lieutenant and just walked around.
Yeah.
But we knew that something was going on. We had no idea it was going to be a plane attack.
Yeah.
So
well,
and
then
the
bottom of who did what and who was responsible.
Well, let me just say this: the same way that we're meddling in Ukraine, right? And we got people in Russia and Ukraine, right? It's just the nature of the State Department and politics, right? That there was nothing different going on between when we were fooling around in the Middle East, right? Kuwait was attacked, and that was a rich country where people were, used to having a good life, and they got 1,500 Americans. That was their mistake. You don't want to take 1,500 American hostages. We're going to come see you. Right. So that's what started it in the 90s. In the 80s, it was our meddling around in Afghanistan. Nobody said anything about Afghanistan. We were literally in a war over there. And it was Reagan's war, right? They made that movie, Charlie McCarthy's War. Reagan didn't, it's like, yeah, whatever, go ahead. Right. That literally was about the CIA agent who did all that. So when you look at why did this person do this? Why did this person retaliate? You can literally see a chain. We knew all of this stuff Catherine Herridge is finding is there, but when you're talking about this kind of activity that goes on in State Department and deep state, wars have been started because a terrorist blew up a damn restaurant. Right? Just some radical dude going in, blowing up a restaurant, 14 people die, and literally bombs get dropped on innocent people in another country out of retaliation when it was a lone wolf just doing something stupid. And that's the delicacy of the world that we live in now. It's highly unlikely that China, Russia, and the US will ever be in a war because we're so busy trying to put out these hot spots where the radicalism is, where people have been raised for 50 years to kill themselves.
But that's one of the things that I say a lot is if you have a lawyer that's driving down the road and he's working on an important case and some trucker drops a cigarette in his lap, and he goes swerves and hits that guy, and that guy goes off the road, and he ends up smashing into a tree and dying. Everybody and their brothers are gonna come out and say, "Oh, that he was working on that mafia case, and they took him out." You know,
Yeah, that's
everyone
true.
jumps on everything as a conspiracy today. That's what it seems like. Even if it was nothing, you know, even if it was just an actual accident that still happened, just like nobody died from the flu during COVID, which was ridiculous, you know. But that's how it is. That's what happens because people grab it and run with it. But today, people are making money off of it. People get paid per click or whatever, right?
Well, I
So,
told you and everybody listening the truth tonight about all of it. It's dirty shit, right?
yeah.
The dirty
But,
shit.
but most of this stuff is, and that's what Trump was
That's
saying, that when we start releasing this stuff, it's going to be where corruption is like up to our eyeballs, and you got to bring out, you know, the cockroaches. You got to put the lights on everything and clean house. Once you clean, then you got to start fixing it so that the bugs can't get back in again. I mean, basically, that's what he's trying to do. But he
the
hasn't even.
politician, honey. The politicians want war, and the warriors want peace. And that I've been living in that circle for damn near 50 years, and I'm telling
But
you, I
we
don't see that
finally,
ever changing.
yeah, but we finally have a president that wants to
Peace.
clean house.
Yeah.
So
I have to
Trump
tell you,
wants
Mr. President,
peace.
I wanted to play this because this is Glenn Beck, and he's talking to the president on the phone, basically, about the beef, you know, the beef stuff. And he was bragging on him about what a great interview he did. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and play this for everybody to hear it. So here we go. And I like Glenn Beck. He's not too bad.
I have to tell you, Mr. President, I didn't plan on talking about this, and we can get into it at a later date, but please,
Your
please,
mic.
when it comes to beef, please look at the cartel that is the meat processing cartel. I mean, that is, I run a ranch, so I know what it's like. And I'm telling you, it is the processing plants. There's 4 of them, and I think 2 of them are not even American. It's bad. And I believe they're colluding
the
with each other.
ranchers and the farmers haven't done it because they're smart as hell. I'm surprised because that's been going on a long time, Glenn, long before I got here.
Help us. Help us. It's so we can't butcher with all of the federal regulations. It is really hard. You know, if there's something you can do to help.
Glenn, is that just a question of regulation? Do you think?
A lot of it is. Yeah, a lot of it is. The inspections are insane.
So they make the regulations so tough that. So could you do it if you didn't have those regulations? Could you do it on your ranch?
Yes.
And is that the way to do it? Or do you think you need some pretty strong regulations?
Break the back of those processing plants. There's people that want to build processing plants everywhere. The regulations are killing us, just killing us.
So you're saying with less regulation, you think that the ranchers and farmers would do a very good job of processing the beef?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
I'm
I know.
Look at that today.
I know.
I've been hearing about this problem for 20 years. I've been hearing about this problem.
Free your people. Let our people go. Let your people go.
You know what? This could be a very good call for ranchers and farmers. No, for the country.
That would be good.
No, I've been hearing
That'd be good.
only bad about it's 4 places and it's a monopoly.
It is.
And who's controlling
this would break their back.
Who's controlling those regulations? Department of Agriculture?
Yes, an FDA.
And the FDA.
Or US, or is it USDA? I can't remember which one, but it's
USDA.
It's the federal regulation. It's all the inspections. Mr. President, I got to get to one more question. Canada.
No, this is a very big thing you just told me, though, because you just gave me a very good idea. Okay, good, very good.
Okay.
I love the call. I love this call.
Your mic.
Darn it, I hate this thing. This just really sucks. I wish there was a way I could fix it. But I wanted to share that because I have a lot of friends that are ranchers on spaces, and I go to a lot of spaces that have the ranchers talking about working on trying to come together, the small ranchers, to be able to compete with these few, just a couple ones that control everything, and they're the ones that are bringing in meat from other countries and grinding it up and cutting it up and putting it in with the regular with their stuff. See what I mean? So and because they're so huge, it's hard for the smaller ranchers to be able to compete. But see, I'm lucky. I live somewhere where if I wanted to go down the road to a butcher that actually has beef from local cows and pigs and stuff like that, and you can even go to a couple butchers here where you can take your deer and have it processed there, and they wrap it and cut it all up, get it all ready for you. And you know where your meat's coming from. See what I mean? It doesn't have stuff in it that you don't want to add to your plate. So we need more of that. And that's why I was glad to play this, because you could hear in Trump's voice, like, really? Like he's shocked because somebody's not telling him something. And I thought that our new agriculture secretary or whatever was supposed to be really good. If this is still a problem, that means he's not listening to the people either.
I think it's a she.
Oh, it's a she. I thought it was
Yeah,
a man.
I think USDA is a woman.
So I don't know.
Maybe Interior. I don't know. One. I think it. I'm pretty sure the woman over that is it's a woman. Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I can't remember, but the thing is, they need to be listening to the people and the actual smaller ranchers, not just the few that run everything, because that's when it gets bad. When you have 25 grocery stores in your town, right? You know, all mom and pop, you know, just spread out in your town, in your surrounding area. And then in comes, I'll just use Walmart Supercenter comes in, and they sell cheap plastic crap from China. Okay, so they can undercut everyone, you know, because they can sell that knife, you know, for 20 cents compared to that guy over there for $2. See, and who's going to buy that for $2 when you can get it for 20 cents at this store? And then all their signs say cheaper, 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 but they're not always cheaper. So that's one thing too. But if you get enough people to go out of business, Walmart gets bigger. See what I mean? And then they don't even have cashiers anymore. You are the cashier. So you're paying for your own bags to be filled by you, but it's already added into the prices of the food. So, but the mom and pop businesses go out of business. And when the small ranchers can no longer pay their bills because they can't compete against the big meat packing companies, who ends up buying their property? They do. See, it's just a big vicious cycle, and we're not going to have any mom and dad ranches anymore. You know, where our grandparents used to get their meat, that kind of stuff. If we don't do something, and that's why I wanted to play that, because I've been hearing this from a lot of things, and a lot of people watching this that are just on YouTube probably don't understand what spaces are. But spaces is like a room that you can go in. You can't see anyone. People just have avatars, but you can get a microphone and talk about things. And Chris and I, we've done lots of different spaces on tons of different subjects, and they're very informative. And some of them are just fun, where you just sit around and talk about bullshit, you know, and goof off and listen to music or whatever you want. So there's spaces for everybody, and they're very entertaining. But I've heard a lot of them talking about how they're trying to do that, and they're also working on, once they get the beef stuff going good, they want to bring in people that raise their own chickens and have their own eggs and stuff. So I think it's great, because all it's going to do, when you have more choices to buy, you're going to probably buy the healthier one, because it's the best for your family, and it probably tastes the best. I mean, I hardly buy anything through drive-throughs anymore. I mean, it's when I'm traveling, usually that's it. That's usually the only time. And I still try to buy like salads and, you know, other things that are as healthy for me as I can get. But when we can get more competition, the prices always go down. It's when you have one group that comes in, like right now with Google, being able to push Parlor off the side of the road, they won. because they didn't like Parlor. They didn't like the people that were going to Parlor, and the Parlor was growing so quickly, getting so big, but Parlor didn't have their own server. So Google and Twitter and I don't know what the other company was, all ganged up on them and got rid of them. And that's what happens when you get companies in there that are just too big. They're just too big and they have too much power. And that's what you're seeing right now with those 4 companies that Glenn Beck was talking about. Because Glenn Beck just wants to have good beef. Who doesn't? It's nothing like getting a nice medium rare steak that almost melts in your mouth and you can cut it with a butter knife. I mean, it's just good. It tastes good and everyone wants it. But why make it to where only certain people can afford to buy one? You're forcing people to have to go to the cheaper meat, which is more likely coming from another country that starts with the letter C, and who knows what's in it. You know, you don't know what's in it, and you don't know what they've jabbed in there. And I doubt that the people that are in charge, and we've been in charge for a little while, are testing every single piece of meat that comes, over our border either. So I just like to know what I'm eating, and I think most people do. But
My mom's my grandmother's father was a grocer, and he had a farm over in Beach Island, and when I was young, like 13, 14, which would have been mid 70s, that's when the USD made it where the family had to shut down a grocery store that had been open 100 years because they processed all their meat. They grew it, fed it, processed it, sold it in their store. It was called Scott's Grocery. And in the mid 70s, they lost everything over the regulations that Trump is talking about right now.
Yeah.
And basically they were ordered. I think Linwood, who was my grandmother's brother, no, my mom's cousin. He was he said Australia was shipping all the beef back then really cheap. They would get it, process it, put it in those freezer cars and let it air dry coming over and ship it out from California. I think like McDonald's pretty much bought their whole meat processing out, and every McDonald's hamburger you ate for 30 years came right out of Australia, and they made them there in the frozen patties or whatever. I learned all that. My internship when I got my business degree was in Wendy's management, and I learned a lot about the fast food. I only did it, I think, for about
So have you seen
15
that
months.
movie, Hamburger the movie?
No.
Okay, because that's what the movie's about. It's about a guy who is told that he's going to lose his inheritance, okay, if he doesn't go to a school or college or get a trade, get some kind of job. So he ends up going to a hamburger college to learn how to work in a fast food restaurant. It's so funny. It's stupid. It's really stupid.
Wendy's had one of them up in Atlanta. Yeah, they had one in Atlanta.
Basically, you can kind of tell, but it's got something Dick Buckus or whatever in it. It's got a few
I think I did see that.
It's really funny. It's got a lot of sex because there's this one scene. I just love it. It's so freaking funny. You can fast forward through it. The Dick Buckus's wife is like really hot. I mean, she is tall. She's got huge breasts. Her hair's cut short, and she's blonde, and she's dark tanned, and she goes to this one restaurant. She's sitting at this table, and it's like a booth, one of those rounder tables in a booth where there was these 2 guys, college guys that were there, and they see that that one guy's coming, so they hide under the table, right? Well, that's right at the table that they all sit down at, and that hot, good-looking wife of that one guy that they're hiding from sits down, and you see the 2 guys under the table talking to each other, and then one looks at the other and goes, "She's not wearing any underwear," or whatever. And then all of a sudden you hear him say, "I'm going in," like that. And all of a sudden you see her go, and you see her, like, oh, Lena back in her chair or something. It's just so stupid, but funny as shit. It's a funny movie. So if you haven't seen Hamburger the movie, because that popped in my head because of what you said, because that's exactly what it's about. It's just really dumb. People going to school to learn to make fries and hamburgers and to run a business. And, it's just really funny. But I just wanted to put there's Mark. Hi, Mark. Thank you for joining us this evening. But we were just talking about a movie review that I did earlier last year, and it was really funny. But I just wanted to share this good news with everyone if you hadn't seen it. It says Antifa leaked sites go dark after the State Department's terror designation of Tech Collective. So a bunch of these sites where these Antifa people used to get on there and rant and set up stuff about going and doing protesting and stuff has went dark. They're not up anymore because the funding, anyone caught funding any of these organizations. And well, thank you for saying hi. I really appreciate you. And I hope you have a great evening. And you're having a nice, relaxing weekend coming ahead, I hope. But I just thought this was really good. And it's good news. So there is good things happening. It's just that you're not going to see it broadcasted, on the news because, they don't want you to know that this kind of stuff's happening. So, oh, hi, Bruce. Bruce is here. Hello, Bruce. How are you?
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, if the fucking weather's over and I can have my internet and power stable, I'll be here. And if not,
Yeah,
well,
I
bye.
saw your deal. It's like bright red, right where you're at.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
is it real windy and nasty? Like you might be able to get hail and tornadoes, or straight line wind?
Actually, it lasted an hour,
Mhm.
and now it's just wind.
Well, that's good.
Tomorrow I'll
But you
go
needed
hunt
the
down.
rain, didn't you?
Say again.
You needed the rain, didn't you?
Um, that's always a constant yes here in San Antonio. The problem with San Antonio is that we have clay, which the rain comes down, but it doesn't really go where it should. Just kind of stands on the ground for days on end until it gets baked off.
Here's
We have
someone
a
saying hello, Bruce.
very challenged drainage system here. The drainage just does not happen. Hey,
Shadow
Shadow.
says hello. I didn't know if you saw it. So,
So
hi.
what exactly is going on here? I gotta
Oh,
ask.
what I'm showing right now is I'm showing this is some good news because we do have some good shit tonight to share. It says Antifa link sites go dark after the State Department's terror designation of Tech Collective. So anyone that sponsors terror or takes money to let them have a website or any of those things can be prosecuted by the federal government. So now all these places are just going bleep, they're just going off. So and they're pissed off. So I think it's good news. I mean, that's something that just shows that they are making a dent. It's a small dent, but it's a start. And we all got to start somewhere, right? So I just wanted to share that, but I thought that was really good news. But let's see what this next thing is. Okay, now
Shadow,
this.
I hope your struggle ends and you're able to secure stability here. Being without internet for 3 weeks and AC would
Well,
be
what happened?
absolute murder.
What happened, Shadow? Why did that happen to you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Well, it's because he hasn't been able to get online. So that's why. But what happened? Did you guys have a bad storm or something there? I mean, I was getting my nails done about 2 months ago and everything went dark. The whole place, there was people getting their feet done, a whole bunch of stuff, and all the electricity went out. So they had to finish. They brought lamps and stuff in, but it was just a car accident that hit a pole and took the power out. So you just never know what's going to happen. But I wanted to share this next thing. It's some more good news that I thought you guys might not know about. Just little things, but I really liking Marco Rubio. I think he's been doing a very good job It says here, Marco Rubio has just revoked the visa of an Iraqi national on FBI's terror watch list who was given the International Woman of Courage Award by the Biden administration. So basically, she got booted. Right here, this lady right here. Taif Sami Mohammed Al Shakli or something like that. That's how you pronounce her name. But guess what I did, Bruce, before we started?
You had bacon?
No, I had bacon this morning and it was delicious. But before we started, I made Chris watch the Team America World Police official trailer because he'd never seen it. Because I told him that I had you put it on the list because I really want to watch and do a review on that movie. So he'd never seen it. He didn't really make much noise, so I just think he was kind of going, "What the hell is this shit?" So I don't know, but I think it's gonna be funny as hell. I can't wait to review that because it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, damn, you could cut me a break.
I know, but I'm just saying you didn't really say anything, but it's got Kim Jong-un and he's singing, like I'm so lonely, oh so lonely. It's just the whole thing is just hilarious. It's just funny, really funny. I don't know how they got away with being able to get that out the theaters.
2004.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I guess you're right. Of when it came out, that's why. But it was really good.
I mean,
But
this was, I believe that movie came out before the crappy Green Day album, American Idiot. And that was what let the media and politicians and news go, oh, thank God, patriotism's over. And then since then, we've had nothing but communist faggotry all over the internet and news. And, if they have a chance to promote faggotry, they promote faggotry. What? Go ahead.
Communist stuff has been on the internet since the internet started. I mean, there's going to be something.
Well, yeah, there is, but they had to put on a facade after we got hit by a bunch of fucking Saudi Arabians, and we went to war with Iraq and Afghanistan, which I'm still not sure how that happened. But anyway,
I just played a bunch of stuff that Catherine Heritage is putting out, stuff that was never released. And we played a couple videos and some stuff about what led up to it, people that were involved. But here's some more good shit that I wanted to share. It says, after almost 12 hours, the FBI agents are still digging through and extracting records from the Fulton County, Georgia Election Center. So this was, earlier, but I want to share this real quick because I think this is great.
FBI agents are going through materials found today during a search of the Fulton County, Georgia election office. That search is said to be related to the 2020 election. Correspondent David Spont has details tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. FBI agents are still on site at the records warehouse for the Fulton County, Georgia Board of Elections. The matter is sealed before a court, meaning details are limited, but we can report this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Sources tell Fox News that agents retrieved documents, phones, and computers after a judge signed a warrant. President Trump has long made Georgia, and specifically Fulton County, a target of his complaints relating to the 2020 election. Shortly after that election, Trump spoke to Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and said he needed 11,780 votes to win the state. At the time, Raffensperger said he felt pressure from Trump and denied any widespread election fraud. He continues to deny it to this day. Now, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis brought state criminal charges against then former President Trump and others in 2023 for conspiracy to overturn the election. But her prosecution, Brett, was eventually derailed completely after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. Now, Brett, last month, the Justice Department sued Fulton County, Georgia, seeking access to 2020 voting records after state officials allegedly failed to respond to a subpoena. Fox News has learned the head of the FBI's Atlanta field office was recently forced out in recent days, but it's unclear, Brett, if this is all related.
Huh. I wonder if it's all related.
I meant what I think it is related. I think all of it's connected. I remember watching videos of people outside that building because it looks very familiar, and they had uh, giant paper shredders, and they were shooting ballots or whatever they were shredding into a back of one of those big semi trucks. So that might be one reason why they haven't turned things over, is because they already shredded it all. They
I
got
got
rid of it as fast as they could.
I got a friend up there that's a defense attorney in Fulton County Court,
Hmm.
and she is a bulldog. Every piece of dirt she can put on she puts it on. She
Good.
yeah, she's doing the job. I every time I turn around, there's something new. So she's really up there doing it to it.
But here's another raid that I want to share really quick. It has nothing to do with ballots, but the other wonderful thing that I love is
Damn it!
seeing
I
people.
gotta.
Sorry, what? What is it? What's going on?
I have to drop back out and come back in. I'll
Okay,
be
I'm
right
sorry.
back.
But this has nothing to do with voting, okay? But this is it says video has been released of the FBI raiding the home of Los Angeles school superintendent Alberto Carvalho. Okay, I gotta let him back in. I'm trying to read the other deal. Hold on. Okay, let me go back over here. A search warrant is being executed on both his home and the LA schools. And it says the district has recently misplaced 76 million in taxpayer funds, falsified student attendance records, and more. And then it says Carvejo was once an illegal alien, and he's been allowing kids out of school to take over the streets at anti-ICE events. So they sent people in to raid them, which is great because I think
Breaking
I'm
today,
loving
federal
all of this
agents
stuff.
raided the Los Angeles Unified School District headquarters and the home of Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. The FBI confirming that it executed search warrants, but withholding any further detail. The superintendent has recently made headlines for fighting with federal officials over immigration enforcement efforts in his district. Amber?
Okay, John. I think it's great. I mean, I'm just trying to. I told you guys I was gonna try to find some good shit once in a while. A little here, a little there, because we're getting, it gets too depressing when you have nothing good happening. But there is lots of good stuff happening. It may not be in my state or in Texas or whatever, but I'm going to try to grab different things when I can find it. That's actually something good happening. And if they can find something in his house or in his business or whatever to prove where the money went, and that he was breaking the law by letting all these kids just run lawless through the streets. Hopefully, all the families will sue him too and take his home and who knows whatever else. Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah.
Right.
That's negative.
Oh, well, see, I hadn't heard about it till I saw it. So I think it's great. But that was one of the things I wanted to share because I think it is good news. And I wish
They just indicted somebody else today, and it's hilarious. Like at 5 this afternoon, the court case was all over and everything, and the guy went out there, and the paparazzi was all around him and asking him questions about his indictment, and the lawyer got pissed off and tried to, like he floored it to run off, and there was a car parked in front of him. So they literally filmed a car accident. I laughed my ass off.
Well, here is another one too. I hear it says over 1,300 illegal immigrants arrested in 2 weeks because of ICE. 400 of them had criminal convictions or charges including murder, attempted murder, rape, and kidnapping. And I wanted to play this one because this is another, uh, you know, yay, kick some ass, because there's people are doing their jobs, and it is happening, even though we've got a bunch of dumbasses that are going to get in their, cars or whatever and go out and stand in their way, thinking that that's going to make a difference. All it's going to do is endanger people's lives. But here we go.
Ever arresting more than 1,300 illegal immigrants across Virginia and Maryland in just 2 weeks.
many of them dangerous criminals. Our correspondent Alexandria Hoff has to lead us on all this for us. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Sandra. These actions were carried out quietly from the 1st to the 14th of this month, so a brief amount of time there. And it's being called not only one of the largest, but the most successful operation in agency history. Titled Operation Safe Community, it focused on the D.C. suburbs of Virginia and Maryland, two states that don't necessarily always admit to having sanctuary policies, but certainly have them in practice. The video that you're seeing has been obtained exclusively by Fox News, showing individuals running from officers and resisting arrest. Over 1,300 individuals in this country illegally, as you mentioned, were arrested as part of this operation. And according to what sources told our Bill Mallusion, 400 of those now in custody had criminal convictions or pending criminal charges for crimes including murder, attempted murder, rape, and kidnapping. Now, among those arrested, you have Ignar Wilfred Hueso Moran, a criminal illegal alien from El Salvador who has a warrant for murder out of Richmond, Virginia. Also, Actionel Pierre, a Haitian national with a criminal history, according to DHS, of attempted murder and 2 counts of assault. And Estela Reyes Funes, who originated from Honduras with convictions that include felony hit and run and arrest for making a threat to bomb, burn, or assault a family member, according to DHS. So those are just several examples. All will remain in ICE custody pending removal proceedings.
All right, Alex Hoff on that for us. Alex, thank you. John.
All right, Sandra, I know you've been waiting.
That is great. I mean, that's good news. All that's good news. We know that they're doing their job. They're still doing it. They're still arresting these people and trying to get them out of the country. And that's what we put them in there for. We asked him to do it. So
Correct.
He is doing it. Okay. So we need to, support this administration because he is trying to do the things that he said he would, even though he has to sit and wait for a ruling from the Supreme Court every time you turn around too. So, a lot of this stuff is bullshit. But this was the other thing I wanted to share. Here's another good news or good shit that's happening. It's our acting AG, Todd Blanche, and he's going at it again. Here we go.
Today we are announcing the indictments of 3 individuals: Maritza Kawik Koch, her brother, Carlos Agustin Kawik Koch, and Gladys Marina Call Chen. This was out of the Northern District of Ohio. All 3 are illegal aliens from Guatemala who allegedly took part in a wide-ranging conspiracy to smuggle more than a dozen children into the United States by scamming the system and exploiting the loopholes created by the last administration. This is one example, one indictment, but it is not unique. There are over 15,500 super sponsor cases that we have identified along with DHS. Today, we are announcing the
15,000 other cases that they found out about because of this one. You know what I mean? So every little thing that they do and then getting these people and saving kids or whoever's been trafficked and the drugs are stopping, all those different things, but opens up doors for other arrests also, especially if it's done right. If they collect the evidence and they do what they're supposed to instead of just saying, well, just rushing through it. It's just nice to see an administration that's actually trying to follow the letter of the law so that when they do go to court, they have everything ready to go. And maybe we'll actually see people go to prison for all this human trafficking and trafficking drugs and guns and everything else in our country, on top of cleaning house and getting rid of all these illegals. But did you know about this one too?
Yeah, I had watched it.
Okay, good.
Not aware.
So I'm glad, because I think it's important that we are trying to share that things are getting finished, and and bring awareness to stuff that crappy, shitty crap that we have to wait around for that we can't do anything about. You know what I mean?
That's everything.
But here's another one. This is by Kash Patel, FBI director. This morning, the FBI arrested Massachusetts State Representative Francisco Paulino, charged in the alleged scheme involving COVID-19 relief fraud and money laundering. Polino allegedly stole $700,000 in pandemic relief funded by taxpayers, using it for personal expenses like real estate, loan payments, and transfers to his campaign account. He also loaned taxpayer funds out at a significantly higher interest rate than he was paying. So he was, he's a criminal. And even though it's just one guy and it was only $700,000, I sure would like to have a small portion of that $700,000. But here's a picture of him. And this guy was arrested for stealing, basically, and fraud. And I'm liking it. I'm liking every single one of these. I read many others that are just small little accounts of people doing things, but all of it adds up. And I honestly believe that once they clean up all this fraud, that we might be able to get out of debt, our country, because there's so much of it. It's just everywhere. Everywhere you look, every nook and cranny is fraud in it. It's
That's the
pathetic.
guy whose lawyer ran into the car leaving the courthouse.
That's the one?
That's the
Okay,
one.
you were
Yeah.
talking about it earlier. I was like, I think that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's the one. His lawyer ran right into a car trying to rush off.
yeah, trying to get away. Idiots.
I laughed my ass off.
Oops, sorry about that.
Oh, hell. I lost you again.
That's weird. This keeps disappearing. My internet's not doing good either.
Take the other Chris off. And sorry, I clicked on the other thing to open it to make sure it was the right one, and it started talking, and I know it was really loud, and I'm really sorry about that. But here it is. I'm going to do this other one. This is another thing that Trump has just done, and a crackdown on the visas. So here we go.
A new crackdown on visa fraud. The State Department now targeting people who enter the country on visas claiming to be short-term visitors and then later applying for permanent asylum. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. Bill Hemmer is off, and you are with me.
Great to be with you as always, and good morning to you.
Thanks for being here.
I'm Bill Malugin. The Trump administration is preparing to revoke the business and tourism visas of as many as 200,000 foreign nationals who are seeking asylum. This would potentially be the biggest mass visa revocation in United States history. State Department spokesman Tommy Pigott calling the unprecedented crackdown on visa fraud a vital priority.
Government approach, a whole of State Department approach. It comes from identifying those travel patterns all the way to the communication at consular officers to make sure that people know that if they are engaged in fraud, if they lie to consular officers when they're applying for their visa, there will be consequences.
Senior national correspondent Rich Edson is live in Washington with more. Hi, Rich.
Hey, good morning, Dana. Well, the administration is targeting these visas issued over the past 10 years to foreigners who are now requesting asylum here. The Deputy Secretary of State, Chris Landau, posted, quote, "People in the U.S. and all over the world are fed up with bogus asylum claims. The system has long been swamped by frivolous asylum claims, meaning that it takes years to adjudicate whether applicants are actually entitled to asylum, during which time they can typically work, have children, and otherwise put down roots in our country."
That's awesome. That's something else that's being taken care of a little at a time. But the thing is, what's scary is I'm worried that it's all going to end after November, because we're going to have
Jesus Christ.
we won't have the people we need. I mean, we don't have them now. I mean, they're not doing anything now, basically. But we'll have the other letter behind their name in office. So we'll see. Sorry that you keep losing your sound. I don't know why that happens. I have no idea. Sorry about that. But let's see, what was this next one? I'll make sure I open the right ones. Okay, let's see. Let's do this one. Okay, let me make sure I click on the right thing. Okay, here's another one. But let me pause it. Okay. It says pediatricians earn up to 1 million plus in vaccine bonuses while they fire patients over vaccine protest. Go protect those bonuses. See, had you heard about this with Senator Johnson yet?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I figured you knew about it because I know you've been going back and forth. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this bigger, and then I'm gonna turn off my.
What is the truth? Because I hear back and forth. I mean, do pediatricians get incentivized with percent vaccination of their?
Yes, Dr. Paul Thomas has done a very good video on that, and many other pediatricians have followed. Maybe Dr. Hooker could answer better on that.
They're typically incentivized directly by HMOs. HMOs buy and sell vaccines, so vaccines are big businesses for HMOs. But the incentivization is usually anywhere from $200 to $600 per fully vaccinated patient, as long as their vaccines, a certain percentage of their practice is fully vaccinated. So some pediatricians can make upwards to $1 million or more a year just in those incentives.
I've also heard stories of pediatricians basically firing patients because they won't get vaccinated. Because
that is correct.
We hear that story over and over again. And also the lies that the pediatrician tell us that our baby will die if we don't get vitamin K at birth. The baby will bleed out before it gets to the car. And these stories, if you don't get the HPV vaccine, then you will die of cancer. These parents have told us these stories, and they're the same over and over again. How can they get away with lying like that to us parents?
That's awful. That is awful. But I've been pretty lucky about my doctors, because my doctors will say, you know, this, that, or the other. You know, I haven't been told to have to take any vaccine by any of my doctors. You know, they're not trying to force me on anything. But I feel sorry for parents today, because it's a lot of shots that they expect your kids to get before you can go to school. And I just think it's ridiculous, especially when we have whole communities of like Amish communities where they don't do it at all, and none of them are sick. So it's like, I don't know. I wish we had more studies with actual people that want to have the truth come out in the study, so that we could find out how much better off we would be without all these shots for stuff that we don't really need. But yeah, I thought that was a good update, I think, of letting you know that your pediatrician is making a shit ton
Janet,
of money.
I
Yeah.
got go.
What is it? What'd he say?
He said he got to go.
Oh, something happened. Oh, his storm. That's right, his storms. Because he sent me a picture showing how bad.
Oh, now I can't hear you again. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, let's see which one this one is. Okay, I'll bring this one up. Let me pause it, and then Chris will be right back, and I'll let him join. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn off my mic and let you listen to this, because this is, I think this is a really good little interview here, and it's got it says the U.S. General Services Administration has just exposed $13 billion with a B in procurement fraud as part of an investigation with the White House Anti-Fraud Task Force. I like the two that they have, Stephen Miller with J.D. Vance doing the talking. So it's pretty good. But here we go. Because remember, J.D.'s the one that's in charge of running all the fraud investigations and stuff. And so far, man, we got a lot of people being exposed.
Technology that was invented 20 years ago. That's technology today, of course, even more so. But if every single person who wanted to enroll in SNAP, or enroll in Medicaid, or enroll in public housing, in a shared database the federal government had access to verify age, citizenship, criminal record, other basic biographic facts, that single step alone would save taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars. You have to ask yourself, why would any politician propose something so fundamental. We're not even debating eligibility rules. An important separate debate. You're debating whether or not a person is lying to the government to extract funds for which they are plainly and clearly ineligible. The time has come to implement these reforms. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The technology that was invented.
He is very smart. I mean, he seems very smart. He's very articulate. Is he a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't. I guess a lot of people are lawyers that go because you have to be a lawyer to understand, parliamentary procedure and all the rules and regulations shit. So there's no way I'd be able to go and doing it. But it was J.D. Vance a lawyer too? Was he one before he became vice president?
I don't think so.
But
I think he's a farmer.
yeah, I know he came from a poorer family and stuff.
No, I mean, I think that's what he does now.
Oh, really? Because I know
Yeah.
that Quebec has a ranch now, and that's one of the reasons why he's been trying to get into the whole meat industry and stuff too. Because a lot of people want fresh food. That's why I want chickens, because I love fresh eggs, and I know what's in them. I know what my chickens. Back a couple years ago, when people were saying their chickens didn't lay for 3 months because of the cheap feed or whatever it was, my chickens laid the whole time. But it's so funny watching my two ducks now because you go out there and you hear this quack in the background, just off to the thing. It's hilarious because I'm not used to it. But then you let them out and they flap their wings and you'll see them take off a little bit. They go up a little bit and then they nosedive, wham, hit the ground. And then they just walk around and just eat grass. They just munch, munch, munch. All of them are all munching on grass. They're just having a great old time. But people don't realize that how much grass and stuff like that birds, chickens, all birds eat. And and to me it's healthier for them. And I think that's the reason why when you get a farm egg compared to the chickens that are grown in a chicken house basically, and they're just fed little pellets all day and they don't get in the sun, they don't get they just don't get the same thing, that the yolks are pale yellow. So there's a huge difference, I think. I mean, honestly, it's hard to tell in just the taste of it because when you cook it in bacon grease, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? That's what I do. But I don't know. I just I try to eat healthier food and knowing where your food comes from, what are your cows eating? That you're about to eat that beef, or the pigs that you're going to eat. What are they, how many injections have they had, all that stuff. And I grew up going every summer and I just remember it, and I wish every kid could have it, going to my grandpa's farm, because he had a farm in Texas and then he had a farm in Arkansas. So while I was growing up, and he would let us milk cows. We used to climb all through the barn to find eggs, and we used to make homemade milkshake after we'd milked the cow. And we had this big old pickle jar. We put ice in there, cocoa and sugar, and we'd all take turns shaking it because it was so big and it was heavy. But with all that cream in there and stuff, because you could see it, Grandma would take the milk and she would take it into the kitchen, and you could see it separate. There was like 3 layers in there, and then she would scoop it out with a cheesecloth and stuff like that. And she sometimes she'd make butter. She used to make a lot of different things, and until she got lupus and started where she couldn't do a lot of things anymore. But I just wish every kid could have that. Do they even let kids go on those trips anymore, the dairies and stuff like that, and see that
Yeah, they
stuff?
still have field trips. My
I
grandchildren have gone to them.
said they got to go see where actual milk comes from a cow,
Yeah.
and where eggs come from. But
Mhm.
what's really funny is I've talked to I don't know how many women, like at business after hours and stuff. And, I tell them I have chickens or whatever. And they're like, well, if I get some chickens, because I don't really want a rooster because you might hurt me or whatever, because a lot of people are afraid of roosters, I guess. But when they lay the eggs and they sit on them, how many babies do you think I'll be able to raise? And I said, well, you won't have babies if you don't have a rooster. And they're like, what? Like they don't, it's like it doesn't, I don't know why some people don't seem to understand how that works because you have to have a man to make babies, but also it's a lot of work to have baby chicks, but it is easier if you have a chicken that does it with you instead of you trying to do it. So who's winning since I know you're watching the game?
Oh no, I'm not. I got my big aquarium up there now, and I was just looking at a weird looking fish that was up there.
Okay, because I was wondering because you said the Saints were playing the Cowboys or whatever.
Yeah, the Saints won 27-24.
Oh,
That was about ended over an hour ago.
oh, see, I don't know. I haven't
God
watched.
dang, you quit working again.
I'm sorry.
Ugh. Reset me, and can you reset me there?
I don't know.
I'll be right back.
I don't know how to do it. So sorry. I feel like shit. I wish I could figure out how to do this stuff. But every time I shut it, every time I shut the
Video
yeah,
screen.
the other
That's
one on,
what does it. Yeah, I
it
noticed that.
takes you out for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm trying to remove the other Chris, but it's not. There it goes. It finally let me get you out now. Okay, I got another one I'm going to bring up real quick. So here we go. It's my last video. And I thought it would be to end with a good one. And it is Robert Kennedy Jr. and Dr. Oz. So here we go. And they're talking about Obamacare. So I'm going to let you hear it. But they're working together to try to clean this mess up. So
Yeah, I saw this already too.
yeah, it's really, really good because
Yep.
to see all these different people that Trump has put into positions in his administration, all going gangbusters diving in to try to get as much done as they can in the time that they have, and to be, basically pummeled, by everyone around them that hates them because of them trying to make these changes. But I'm really proud of them, all of these people, for stepping up and taking the heat because they're just. I guarantee they get death threats and all kinds of shit, just like Stephen Miller's been getting, him and his family. So it's really good. But here we go.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. I'm joined today by my good friend and anti-fraud warrior, CMS Administrator, Dr. Mehmet Oz. Healthcare fraud and corruption affect millions of Americans, and maybe even you. The Obamacare marketplace is plagued by fraud, in large part because the Biden administration dismantled basic program integrity guardrails, while partisan lawfare blocked the common sense effort to protect taxpayers. Today, Dr. Oz and I are exposing one of the latest examples of fraud that we've uncovered. More than 1 million people enrolled in Obamacare without Social Security numbers on file. That is a glaring warning sign of fraud. If even a single person was on Obamacare with no Social Security number, we should have found out. Why are we paying people who we don't know if they actually exist?
Shady insurance agents and other bad actors have been getting paid to enroll unsuspecting Americans in health plans they never signed up for. These rogue agents have been flooding into healthcare.gov. That's the Obamacare marketplace. They submit applications for fake people, enroll stolen identities, all to collect millions of dollars in improper fees from insurance companies for selling plans they never legitimately sold. Some of these agents refuse to follow basic rules, like providing their client's Social Security number. That, my friends, is a huge red flag.
These fraudsters deliberately pick plans with no premiums. No premiums means no bill. No bill means most people never know that they've been enrolled in a plan that you and I are paying for with our taxpayer dollars. The only people who benefit are the fraudsters.
The Trump administration has zero tolerance for that. So here's what we're doing about it. In May, we took swift action to block this fraudulent behavior directly on healthcare.gov and through our marketplace call center. If an agent wants to be paid, they must follow the rules. No ifs, ands, or buts. They are going to have to provide government-verified information for their clients to be enrolled.
Thanks to this aggressive enforcement strategy, we've already eliminated thousands of fraudulent policies, and we're just getting started. We're also working with insurers to cancel every policy that should never have been issued and recover every taxpayer dollar that was fraudulently paid out.
We're also scaling up our enforcement efforts to prevent these bad actors from finding new ways to manipulate the system ahead of the open enrollment system this fall, because we know the bad actors don't simply stop when you cut off one vulnerable area. The Biden administration let healthcare fraudsters run wild. Thanks to President Trump, those days are over.
To every unscrupulous insurance agent and fraudster exploiting the American people, here's our message. If you steal from the American taxpayer, or if you defraud American families, HHS will find you and we will hold you accountable.
If you're a fraudster, here's our advice to you. Do not walk away from us, run, because we are going to find you.
We're just getting started. This is the American people's health. This is the American people's money. And the Trump administration is committed to protecting both. Thank you.
What I'd like to see is that the money is paid not to the health insurance or not to the insurance companies, directly to the people into a healthcare account, savings account. And the people buy their own healthcare. Now, the Democrats don't like that because they're owned by the insurance companies. The Democrats are owned by the insurance companies. Obamacare, and I said this for a long time, Obamacare was set up by the insurance companies. They made a fortune. 1,000 points, they're going up 1,000, 1,250, 1,359%. That's all the money pouring in. I want the money to go directly to the people. Let the people buy their own health care. Now, their health care is going to be better, and they'll be paying less money. It's going to be amazing. But we have to get the Democrats to support it, most likely.
Is your mic on?
No, sorry. And I'm not going to close it because if I do, then you're going to have to leave again. So I'm just going to leave it open. But what I was saying, had you heard Trump say what he's saying about wanting to give the people the money and let them decide what they
Yeah,
want to
that
do?
was actually one of his first gaggles ever on Air Force One, just within the first 100 days of his administration. I remember that conversation well. I'm really hoping that's what happens.
Well, the thing is that depending on where you worked and what insurance was offered, you know what I mean? Like when years ago, I wasn't married very long. My kids were really little. I mean, like, not even in school or anything. We had insurance in Arizona, and the insurance had like $5 subscriptions, for your medicines and things like that. And when you went to the doctor, it cost $15. That was your portion when you had the insurance. But then you move to another state and it goes up to $50 for this and $25 for that and $100 for an appointment, things like that. So depending on what state you live in, basically, and how they run it is what people are stuck with. What choices they have. But one thing I have definitely seen, and I know people that have been using them that didn't have it, insurance, because they had been put on Obamacare, okay? And they said every single time they went in that it was going to cost them too much money up front, so that they just couldn't afford it. And I was like, well, every doctor that I've talked to, and I've played a few videos on different shows here, that if you went in and said, if I pay cash for this, say someone said they're going to need a knee surgery, okay, they have a real bad knee, and they found out that it was going to cost this certain amount of money, and that insurance, you had to pay your your copay, and then you had to pay a certain amount of money up front before they would pay anything, right? And then after that, they only pay like 75% or whatever it is, and you still owe the back money. So they went to the hospital and they said, well, what if I pay cash? If I pay cash for my surgery, how much is it going to cost? And if it was insurance, it was going to cost like $3,800 for this surgery to fix a tendon or whatever in their knee. It was going to cost $600 and something if they paid cash. So what the hell is going on? How do they get away with that shit? That's why what he's saying makes perfect sense to me, that the whole thing was set up for a payday for people. Basically, all this shit has been like, well, we can do this. We can act like we're helping people, and the money just all goes into our bank accounts. Basically, it's money laundering setups everywhere. It's all over the place, and it's pathetic. But this was the last thing I had for the show tonight, and it's 11:30, so we did pretty good. And that was like 12 things, 12 different subjects. I thought we did really well on
Yeah, plus I rambled for 20 minutes with the history lesson.
well, it was all right, but it was a good history lesson, and I think the topic was important because a lot of people
Yeah.
that are going to watch this later are going to say, "Wow, I didn't know this was coming out." But that finally, after all this time, these people might be getting justice, some of them, for their loved ones that are gone, and to find out the truth. See, a lot of people who lose a loved one, especially in suspicious circumstances where we don't hear stuff, when your child is murdered or whatever else, and they take you, behind closed doors, and they tell you about what happened and stuff, it's devastating. But you get the benefit of knowing what happened to your kid, and then whether or not, if there's other people missing, let's say they were killed by a serial killer, the family, they approach and they say, well, we will wanting to offer them a plea deal if they tell us where their body's at, or the other bodies, or whatever, depending on what the situation is. And it's a hard situation for people who found out what just happened to their kid. Like, I was watching a documentary today about a kid that was 13, a 14-year-old boy that murdered a 13-year-old girl in the middle of the night, and he used this huge knife, and he stabbed her like 140 something times, and she had 40 something defensive wounds where she was trying to defend herself. That's a lot of, I mean, I don't know how the kid was able to even walk home. I mean, he had to have been exhausted from all that, using a knife like that. But they tried him as an adult, but after 25 years, he can be up for parole. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think anyone who does something like that to a person should ever get out of prison. I don't care if they're, how young they are when they commit the crime. To me, the fact that he committed a crime like that, shows that he would go on and kill multiple people if they hadn't arrested
Yeah,
him.
I think the only thing that I heard about that case is when the judge just said he was going to sentence him as an adult. I had not heard about the consequences of the crime, but when he said the ages and then said he was trying him as an adult, I thought that had to be really bad.
Yeah, it was really, that's why they charged him as an adult, because he said he did it. He lied multiple times about what really happened. At first, he said that she tried to grope him and stuff, so he shoved her and she fell back and hit her head. Okay. And then when they found her, and they're like, what the fuck? Because she was slashed all to bits, basically, with that giant knife. And then it broke off the tip in her top of her scalp, and then he threw it in the lake. But the mother washed his clothes when he came home because he was covered with blood, of course.
Sure.
And she tried to cover it up for him, help her son or whatever, which is, as a mother, I love my kids, but if my kid came home covered with blood, I'd go, what the fuck happened? What'd you do? Were you in a car accident? Did you get hit by a deer? I mean, I'd be asking all these questions, and sooner or later you'd figure it out. But if my kid did something just like what happened with a couple of these other kids, the parents told them, we're going to go to the police. We're going to go or they went to the church and confessed, and then they called the police from there, that type of thing. That's a decent parent. That you can't be with your kid every minute. I mean, it's impossible. But I went and looked into this kid afterward, and he's been in there for like 3 years now, and he's constantly fighting with other inmates. He fights with the prison guards, all that. So I'm telling you right now, when his 25 years gets to that, he's going to still be young,
Let me tell you something crazy about that crazy acting they do. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of new drugs they got going around right now, and they're bad, bad, bad. That's a whole nother night topic, but
yeah.
back when crack was really going crazy. I was doing ambulance back then. And man, so help me God, there was a real thing called a crack baby. When the mothers would be smoking crack while they were in utero and they came out, and I'm telling you, it wasn't like they were like, mongoloid or autistic or anything. They were violent. And I mean, I'm telling you, violent. And we went through that was when, remember, the homicide rate went real high and all that stuff for a few years, and they had to really crack down. And yeah, I remember all that. Boy, there were some fucked up homicide scenes I saw. And it was always that they had these wild eyes.
Well, can I
And
ask you about something? Since you
yeah,
said you were a paramedic, right? I
yeah.
remember there was a summer and it seemed like we had 5 or 6 people that were attacked by someone that was doing a crocodile or something. I don't remember what it was. It
Yeah,
was with,
bath salts were going around for a
yeah, they
while.
were
That
trying to eat
there,
people,
yeah,
while they were
that's right. That's what was going on with bath salts.
walking.
People turned into cannibals, and like a man might be on it, kill his entire family, and then cut his own throat and cut it like this from ear to ear to the bone. That's supposed to be impossible for a human to do that, right? Because of the way the nerves work and all of that.
Yeah.
But they would be so high and so in a different zone that they could literally. I had to go to a couple of those. Oh Jesus. I
It's
mean,
terrible.
kind of describe just like what this 14-year-old did. I mean, that really was the thing I was thinking. I wonder what kind of drugs they were doing. I bet it was this new shit, man. Yeah, I think that is.
Crocodile, I guess, was a Russian street drug. It would make people's skin turn green and reptilian looking. Ugh. But why would people want to take it
Man,
if
this
you're
shit they're taking now,
I know,
so
but
help
if
me
you're
God, it
with
rots your
people,
skin off.
I know, but if you're with people, like, let's say a group of people, 15 people, whatever, and they're going and hanging out in an apartment or whatever, and they see another person take this stuff and how they act and what they're doing, why would the other people that are hanging out with them want to do it too and they think it's, I don't understand that.
Man, we got an epidemic right now of people that are like, it's like a synthetic cocaine, and literally they're shooting it up. It literally is rotting holes in them. It rots out of your body from the
Yeah, but
inside out, makes
so
holes.
why is it that addictive that they can't help themselves? They just
I
turn
mean,
into a
Jesus,
giant,
Jesus,
they
God
turn
help me.
into
I
a
don't,
giant grater, cheese grater. I mean,
you know what? I don't, the people that sell that shit to people, I think should get a life sentence. I don't care. I mean, that's as vile as you can get. Poisoning people, that's,
and then
that's fucked
here,
up.
you think about it, all those drugs that were coming over the border when we're not sure what's in it. I mean, they can say it's cocaine or it's just pot, but it could be having, like what you said, it makes you sniff it up your nose and your nose rots off your face. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You have
this
no
it's bad
idea.
right now.
You
There's
have
a
no
few
idea
new
what this stuff
synthetic
is.
drugs out that are causing real damage.
It's disgusting. I just don't know why anybody would do it. I hardly ever even take Tylenol because I know it's not good for your liver. And if you take too much of it, or it can tear your stomach up and stuff like
I mean,
that.
that's why I smoke weed. And I say smoke weed, it's medical marijuana. I have a card. I carry a card, right?
And it's a vape too, right?
No, I mean, I get flour and use that because I can cook with it, or, just make tea out of it or whatever. So there's different ways you can do it.
See, why would they want to make that? I'm asking Hardwick. If you make stuff like that and you give it to your people, they're gonna die, or they're gonna not be able to buy your booze anymore because now they can't work because they're blind. So why would they keep making it and selling it to people? See, to me, when you're killing off your clientele, like I said, I told everybody that my allergy doctor told me that he didn't recommend that I get the jab. And I said, well, why? Why do you think there's something wrong with it? But to me, I felt like he didn't get it either. But he showed me the insert and there was nothing on it. He said, so you're all allergic to stuff. And some of you are really bad allergic to stuff. So if I give you the shot, I may not have you next week. To be my patient. And he said, I'll have no patience left. I could have no patience. or worse patients. So until we know more about it, I just don't recommend that you get the shot. And I'm thankful every day.
Well, I mean, you're on the right track though. Like you mentioned that you got oregano oil and black seed oil. I mean, that's going to change your health.
Well,
It does. It picks
I'm
up your
always,
immunity and all kind of stuff.
yeah, and I'm always looking for new stuff, but I have to take one thing and I have to wait and see how I react. I remember one time my doctor gave me an antibiotic. I hadn't had it been. They were giant. I mean, they looked like horse pills, I thought. And it was for another sinus infection because I have them a lot. You know, I'd get like 4 a year because I'm constantly, because of my allergies. And she gave it to me, and I remember I took it, and my kid goes, "You look like a vampire." And I went, "What?" And they go, "I can see all your blood vessels." And I went, "Huh?" And I looked in the mirror, and it made my skin almost look like translucent. So I went to the doctor, and I felt normal though. And she said, "Okay, well, you're just gonna stay here until you start it gets through your system." And I was drinking water and everything, trying to flush it out. And she said, "We're not gonna take that again." So, you know, because we don't know what the next pill would have done. You know what I mean? So that's what a lot of people don't realize, that when you have any kind of weird reaction that you didn't have before, that you need to tell your doctor about it. Okay. Just because, you know, it could be something really bad, that second pill you take or the third or whatever. So just, you know, try to be careful and pay attention to your health. But that's, I was just wanting to tell you, because that, you know, a lot of people may
Oh,
not
we
know.
can talk, Janet. Don't give us a subject because we'll talk.
No, I know, but the thing is that I'm done. I did all that.
Yeah,
Was
I
everything.
am too. I'm tired.
Yeah, and I'm exhausted. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who hung out with us for a little while. And I'm sorry that Hardwick just got to show up a few minutes ago. But it was pretty good. It had a lot of good, informative things and some happy stuff, good stuff that's actually unfolding. And well, I think I really think that we're going to start getting a little more good stuff until we get the ding, ding, ding. That's what I can't wait for. That's what I'm excited for. I can't wait to that day. But I want to say thank you to everyone again, and you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if you want to stop in tomorrow, I'm going to be playing Bruce Pathfinder game if he has electricity and stuff, because he's having a really bad storm right now going over San Antonio. So, but you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you, Chris.
Good night, Janet. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.